Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. My name is Jackson Feltz of Sports Radio 950 KJR. Joining me to break down the Seattle Sounders versus Portland Timbers Derby match this afternoon is Ed Pham of Prost Soccer in Portland, Stephen Agen of Prost Soccer in Seattle, and then freelance writer of Matt Pentz, who also writes for Prost Soccer. Guys, it was an intense derby match as usual, very physical. Seattle comes away with the 1-0 victory. Stephen, I'll start with you. What are you taking away from the 3 points coming to the home squad today?
You know, it was a very passionate performance from the Sounders. A lot of fire from man of the match, Christian Roldan. Scores the goal, gets into it with Blanco a few times. I think this was about energy, about Sounders being at home with that undefeated record against Portland. And I think that history carried the day here.
Matt, Christian Roldan scores in the 4th minute, a header goal assisted by Ladero on the corner, and then also Chad Marshall. And then they kind of have to gut it out for the next 86 plus minutes of just, you know, that defense has to lock down against a very dangerous Portland squad. How'd they pull it off?
I think Gustav Svensson was there again today. I was a little bit worried about that matchup with the Sounders coming in, given how much of a handful Matt can be, especially how physical he can be.
Right.
And Svensson in recent weeks has really struggled when going against really physical guys. So he played a really good game in the back and allowed them to kind of ease out some of their chances. Portland really just, they struggled to break Seattle down. We've talked a lot this year about the Sounders struggling to break down opponents. It was kind of flipped today with the Sounders sitting deep and Portland just not really being able to break stuff.
Ed is our resident Portland guy here. Was it more of Portland's attack not being able to get going, or is it more of Seattle's ability to lock them down?
I think it was just the attack not able to get going. Is what happened was this is the first game that they've in a while that the front four has been together, and so trying to get the synergy and connectedness between the four together, and it was a bit of a struggle. So you could see that at times, you know, deliveries were coming in, and you know, two guys were coming in the same zone, or the zone was falling up, things like that. And so I think it was they didn't get back to the
But you know, in the moments where Portland was dangerous, Pentz got touched on it here with Svensson. He was so good. He up in the back so well. You know, we've seen Fernando Adi give Chad Marshall, Roman Torres a real hard time over the years. And in fact, the fact is, Svensson was able to play physically with Adi and bump him off the ball a few times. So that's not something you really see from MLS.
Roman Torres is out for Seattle today, and Svensson takes his place. We talked to Brian Schmetzer in the post-game press conference about just how essential Svensson has been. You also have Brad Evans go full 90-plus minutes here, including added time. Matt, his influence from the aspect of leadership and from the aspect of defense itself, the fact that he's now been in the majority of 2 matches back-to-back where they've pitched shutouts. How important is he to really changing the tide with this back four, which has been injured for the most part the entire season?
For sure. I mean, he's always been steady. And I think his biggest attribute for the Sounders is really just kind of like give that leadership and calm everyone else down. You can see that today, and you really start to see the back four maybe start to come together. Because they've been piecing it together from the very first game of the season. Him finally healthy. Things will start to change a little bit on that.
Stephen, for you and Ed here, for a long time we've been talking about how Seattle is out-shooting and out-possessing their opponents, and they're just not getting the goals in. You look at the stats here, Portland out-shoots Seattle 19-8. Now they, of course, also take possession. That normally happens in a game where the other team goes up early. But for Portland, is it sort of the element of the storyline for Seattle now shifts to Portland of you get a whole bunch of shots, you get the possession, but you just can't put one in? It's almost like the storyline's just flipping from one Cascadia club to another.
You know, to be honest, it was a fun joke to make during the match, but it's not really indicative of where the Portland Timbers are at this year right now. With the 4-1 loss in Montreal last week, that didn't really have anything to do with putting up great offensive stats but not putting the impact away. I think that was unique to today, and I think it's something that you can really attribute to the game state. When somebody scores 5 minutes in a derby like this, really the onus is on you to go out there and get it back. I think it would have been a huge disappointment for the Timbers. You know, even beyond the loss, the Sounders bossed them around the pitch after taking the lead.
Ed, no wins in the last 5 matches for a Portland squad that really showed up very strong early on in the season. Any concern at this point, or is it still too early?
Porter in the conference that you were talking about how he's actually pretty happy with the performance that the Timbers had. So it sounds like they're not actually. There's more frustration. You had so many opportunities, you had so many chances, possession both teams. It's surprising because past games, they would never do that.
Timbers tend to sit back and kind of play balls over the top. Yeah.
And so they were, putting it to the Sounders, but didn't score a goal. And so there was a lot of frustration there. But the fact was that Porter was happy with their performance, happy that, with all these things, Google coming in after Susan was supposedly had a concussion injury. Espria was very spicy with the play. He was very alert. Just overall, people coming in to fill in and emphasize different goals. It was really impressive.
Ed, that was Porter. What was the emotions inside that locker room like you were in there a few minutes ago?
Again, a lot of frustration. Police and Derek Valentine was both pretty frustrated with how everything kind of panned out, with their chance of coming to return, at least trying to come out with points. They felt like they should have come out with a point with all the teams in that. The ball doesn't fall the right way at times. That's what happens.
I think the two interesting points that we haven't touched on yet about this match are one, the fact that it was the first derby between Seattle and Portland where both clubs are MLS Cup champion. Right. We got our first taste of what this rivalry is going to be like now that we're kind of in this Cascadia 3.0 era, if you will. Additionally, we now have the Cascadia Cup standings tied up at 3 points apiece across the three clubs. Timbers have had a couple of chances here. First the Whitecaps and then Timbers had a chance to jump to 6 points and take a big advantage in this regional competition. But as it is, maybe the most interesting, close start we could have had so far in 2017.
Oh, for sure. And I think what you touched on earlier, too, about the two defending champions coming in. I think in a lot of ways this game was a little bit underwhelming. They didn't really look like the two teams that were the two defending champions who were already kind of jumping in front of the game. Early on, Portland looked like they were going to be one of the very best teams in the Western Conference. Neither one of these teams looked like that.
Late in the match, Christian Roldan takes a foot to the face of Espria. He stays in the match. We talked to Brian Spencer there in the post-match press conference about just how much his toughness has meant being able to stay in a match and then, overall, just from what we've seen from him these last few years. I mean, he is really, turning into one of the keys for this Seattle squad, pretty much in not only in the midfield, but as a leadership tool. To show other guys leading by example. It takes toughness to beat a team like Portland.
Well, let's be clear. Christian Roldan's head and face were the man of the match today. Not only
absolutely
scoring,
was,
but also creating really the major flashpoint of this derby, the biggest flare-up amongst the two clubs, I think, when Blanco and Roldan go at it. And I think that's another big takeaway is the fact, Matt, you mentioned it, this didn't flare up quite as much as some derbies have. Oh, we did have that moment. It involved Roldan, who's not normally like that. We've got 2 more matches between these clubs coming up in the next month, and so it's something we touched on earlier this week. Is this the big flare-up? Is this the big match, or is this the one that sets the table? I think we have our answer. I think this derby has set the table for the ones to come.
Absolutely, it is. In the next week, Seattle will face the Columbus Crew in Columbus, a midweek Wednesday evening match. And then also they will come home to face the Houston Dynamo on Sunday, June 4th. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff here at CenturyLink Field. For Ed, Pham, Stephen Agen, and Matt Pentz, my name is Jackson Feltz. Thanks for watching Postgame on the Pitch.